Governor John Kasich and I, we did a little dance. We danced from time to time when I was in the General Assembly. We joust often, but we did come together when a serious situation happened. And Sharon, I know you remember this, when 2014 young Tamir Rice, 12 years old, was shot on a playground in Cleveland. And the governor and I came together, long story less long, called up the governor. Governor, we got to do something about this. Senator, come on in and see me. And we put aside all that fighting that we were doing on other issues to come together to try to make some change. And in the face of what just happened in Memphis, the governor and I teamed up again with an op-ed. Take a look at this headline, if you will, with me, please. America must solve our deadly community police problem. Yeah, we must. And some of the highlights of that op-ed: the brutal death of Tyree Nichols has provoked many expressions of outrage from across the world. But one word from Memphis Police Chief Davis perhaps describes it best: inhumane. With Tyree's beating, we were eyewitnesses to shameful acts made all the worse because they came at the hands of police officers sworn to serve and protect their community. Serve and protect? We can't begin to count the human and public policy failures behind this tragic irony in those words. We go on less than 10 years ago in Ohio, and I was explaining to you guys when he was he was governor, I was senator, and the shooting of young Tamir Rice on that playground. The governor and I definitely came together along with other leaders in this community to find a way to make sure that the voices of the people who were hurting, not the people with the uniforms on, not the people with the fancy titles, but the voices of Big Mama and Big Papas and hoods where they are misunderstood, that their voices were heard. I'm paraphrasing that right there. And then we began the process of pulling together a truly diverse cross section of Ohioans, including community leaders, local citizens, law enforcement officials, and the task force. We traveled all across the country to hear what the people of the state had to say about the pain that they were feeling, et cetera, et cetera. I encourage you to go and read this op-ed. It is in the Hill. Certainly, if I were asked, Sharon, what were some of the greatest things that I was able to accomplish, in that Ohio Senate, and I would certainly say that this was one of them. Now, the task force, there's much more work that has to be done. It was a beginning, not an ending. But what did not happen in Cleveland? No violence took place because people's voices were heard. We understood that their voices needed to be heard. We went to them, they didn't have to come to us. We went all over this state. And that is what leaders who really are driven to try to solve problems should do. And we did.
That's why I love you. That right there is why I love you, because it's so authentic. When you talk about meeting people where they are and going into the community, that's this whole national message about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Senator, I apologize, it's built on a lie. None of that could have saved Tamir Rice, Tyree Nichols. None of it would have saved them. Okay, because we're talking about the federal police did not shoot Tamir Rice in less than 2 seconds. 1.6 seconds is something that's stuck in my mind. I believe that's what it was. So this has to stop. But what we get constantly is the okey doke. And what you did with then Governor Kasich was remarkable, because you didn't agree on any policy things, but you could come together and say, you know what, you're a human, I'm a human, and a 14-year-old boy should not die at the hands of police in 1.6 seconds.
That's it. I mean, that's really what we did. And we put aside all the fighting, because we can fight after this. People know he's a conservative Republican, I'm a progressive Democrat. We get that. Sharon, it kills me. Like, there's nothing special about a Democrat and a Republican fighting. That's what we do. But when you can come together, the gut wrenching, Miss Rice, what she was going through at the death of her son, the aches and the pains that Black mamas and Black daddies were having, saying to themselves, that could have been my son on that playground. You don't need politicians to play games. We ain't have to give no big speech, none of that. Governor, this is the thing. And when I reached out to the governor, I said, Governor, I'm calling you as a Black mama. I ain't calling you as a state senator.
That part.
Because I got a Black son. Come on. That's what
and the thing about it is money can't care. I'm a parent, you're a parent. Money, poor, well off. When you're Black and there's a police encounter, even the talk I'm fighting with people online. Well, maybe he shouldn't have run. He was running from brutal, disgusting murderers. Tyree Nichols was. Again, the mafia doesn't even do it. They're swifter in their action than this. He's running from killers. What do you expect? And staying wasn't going to save him.
That's it.
Saving wasn't going to save him. Okay, so this whole notion that we can coach our kids and in the old days, beat our kids so that they'll know that this is what's out there, and we gotta protect you, and we gotta rough you up in here so you'll be ready out there. You have to change. No amount of anti-bias training. Stop it. Either you care about people and you respect humans and see them as humans, or you don't.
That's it, Sharon. Absolutely. And although train away, but you're absolutely right. That malice that those men had in their hearts spilled out onto Tyree Nichols' body. No amount of training could have changed what they did to that young man on that day. The 5 plus the one they tried to hide.
And here's the thing, Senator. This is why we need more of you. This is why. Because I'm gonna tell you something. The Memphis police chief got a cuddle. She was cuddled, a nice little cuddle by the national media. Instead of asking her day one, what did you do? What did you know? How many complaints, how many were founded? How many were unfounded? It's a dirty secret. Mayors want crime to stop, so they bring in this brute force. They tell the police chief, I'll just look the other way, get it done, lower crime rates. And they go and they brutalize people who don't deserve it, didn't ask for it, and they're not the judge and jury here.
That's it. That's what we got courts for. It's supposed to arrest people for them, and we know there's some outliers. Arrest people and let them have their day in court. Oh my God, Sharon.
So Rittenhouse got.
Yes, there it is. There it is. And team, the last one. Can you guys put up the last part of the article? What's needed is a change of culture, a new way of thinking in which people are respected because they are heard, a community in which solutions are forged and actions are taken. Equally vital is active participation by every part of the community in every stage of the process. Only when everyone feels that they've had a meaningful and continuing role can everyone in the community see the benefits. That was written by yours truly and Governor John Kasich. Please go and read it. Those are just excerpts from it.